So, the views and opinions of hosts and guests are their own and do not reflect the views and opinions of other hosts or guests. Viewer discretion is advised.
I mean, get out your goddamn feelings. Respectfully.
That way.
Why you gotta push it like that, though? Why you gotta tell people to just get the fuck out their feelings right off the rip?
I mean, like it was to give them an idea of what you meant. I mean, I'm just saying.
I said what I meant, but thank you for your interpretation. I greatly appreciate it, ma'am. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first episode of the Ruthless Realness podcast right here on the Marking Out YouTube channel. For those who don't know, I am Jordan McClain, one half of the Marking Out Boys, 1/3 of your host of this show. As always, along with me, my big brother, my tag team partner, my best friend, Tevin Wilkins. Tevin, how are you doing tonight, sir?
I am so excited. I'm so excited, man. This is something that we've been talking about, and we finally got the ground running with this. So we have our gracious host, Miss Sexy herself, from Beaterhole, New York, the goddess of destruction.
Say that.
And did I mention she is the Queen, Super Savage Saiyan God?
That part.
And she is our lovely host, Miss What That Larry Do. I'm talking about Ruthless Lala, baby. How you doing, baby?
Like, wait. Gotta make sure, like, it's there somewhere. It's there.
It's there somewhere. How are you doing tonight, sis?
I had to go and try to get myself situated because, as people know, I'm still battling this fucking pneumonia. Been having fever, been going through it, like body aching, like I'll feel good one day and then like I'll feel like death the next day. But as my dear brother would say, you know, this is what Saiyans do. You know what I mean? You know, just rest and get back out to knocking heads off of the motherfucking culture when they lift this ban and everybody can stay their ass at home and do what they're supposed to be doing so we can get over with this stuff. Respectfully.
Right.
When this Rona shit get done, I'm trying to take this Rona finna take everybody out. Ladies and gentlemen, we also have on the line one of our guests tonight. Yes. As a matter of fact, you should be the one to do this.
Oh Lord,
I'm probably gonna get beat up for how because you know, like when it comes to compliments, it kind of bothers, but I can't help it. Like I don't look at it as a compliment; I look at it as a fact. He is the killer weight. He is Mr. Like how do I put this? Like he is the bastard prince. He is like there's no word to describe this man, but out of this universe would be a beginning. He is by far one of the most overlooked professional wrestlers in this business.
Hell
he's been doing it for a very fucking long time.
Absolutely.
He is also a member of the hierarchy. You know, we're not gonna go into, you know, how I feel about that. Respectfully, though. And honestly, he will knock your fucking head off just as bad as I will. But he is also a former Georgia Crown champion, undefeated for the most of. Well, actually, yeah, he was actually defeated for like forever until he had to run into another guy. But it is my distinct pleasure and honor to not introduce a wrestler, a phenomenal, extraordinary human being, but my fucking brother, the one and only Mr. Joe Black.
Yeah.
How are you doing tonight, sir?
Maintaining, can't complain.
Listen, first of all, thank you so much for being our first guest on the Ruthless Realness podcast. When we were talking about doing this show and, you know, we told Lala, we said, hey, we got to get some guests lined up. She said, say no more. I already know who I want on the first road. And, you know, I was like, who you want? Joe. It's got to be Joe.
Right.
I said,
he wasn't able to finish a sentence.
And I asked her, I was like, why Joe? And she said, Real recognize real. Real niggas do real things. So,
right.
here you are. We got you on here. Lala, Sistren, what are we discussing tonight on the Ruthless Realness podcast?
A lot of people want to understand what's the whole concept of ruthless realness. Ruthless realness, which, by the way, Jordan came up with the word, the name of it. I wanted to come up with. I used to can, but now I cannot.
But now I cannot.
That was too much. So that was a no-no. But
it's just a little too long. But that
the one thing that I've struggled with was speaking my mind, because at the earliest of my wrestling career, I was told that, hey, you just keep your mouth closed and ears open. But then it got to the point to where people started doing fuck shit, and when somebody was supposed to say something, they didn't. And there was a lot of times that I would sit and I would be upset about how upset I am because somebody had said this or somebody had said this. And now it's at the point to where, like, I started hanging out with bro, and bro was like, man, fuck everybody. Fuck their feelings. Fuck how they feel. Do you. If it don't benefit you, fuck them. And I was like, yeah.
Real talk.
Yeah. So,
Real talk.
And as some people know, here recently I spoke my mind about talent and how there's a lot of fucking dope ass wrestlers who are getting sleeped on because they're not the homeboy shit, or they're not applying their tongue to an asshole of the promoter, to get that booking and everything, and nobody wants to talk about it. Or the fact that if there's 3 black people in a locker room, it's automatically considered as a stable, which is by far the most racist shit ever. And so, like, sometimes shit needs to be rectified and it needs to be brought to a light, but yet in a respectful way, respectfully though. And that is one of the things that I want to do. I want to make sure that when you come here, you get to see and get to know wrestlers who you didn't even really know that's on the scene, who was fucking amazing. And on top of it, you get some realness and you get some entertainment because we're all friends. We all keep it honest with each other. You know what I'm saying? It's like having a cookout and watching WrestleMania at the same time. So it's like a family reunion and a cookout, but on some real shit. Just like
Right.
you don't include the uncles that get drunk. Well, no, I take that back, because Uno would be that uncle that just show up with nothing but Hennessy and just like trying to throw it in anything. So technically, you got a couple of uncles in there. You know what I'm saying? But it's to get to know these guys who and gals that you think that you don't know, and just put some more realness. There's not enough realness in wrestling now. You know what I'm saying? It started off with a lot of realness like back in the gap, but then like the more that we progress, the more the realness just kind of watered down. And now you gotta like watch what you say because people are offended. Fuck that. Real is real. Truth hurts. That's off the bat. I'd rather for you to tell me the truth than to tell me a lie. So that is one of the reasons of why I've really been wanting to do a podcast with people that I vibe with, who understands how hard it is as African American to go through the things that we go through, not just in wrestling, but in life, and still pushing forward to be who we are now. And so that is one of the reasons of why I wanted to do this podcast, is give the voice to the voiceless. You know what I'm saying? Give people the opportunity to come on and, share how they feel, and don't have to worry about people. Well, you know what? I think that when you said that, I got a little bit emotional. Okay. And then so I had to unfollow you from Twitter for a little bit, but now we're back in this thing and I'm just happy to be here. Okay, buddy. All right. But like, that's the whole concept. And the one person who, and we've all had this conversation in video chats constantly is, why the fuck is Joe not signed?
Yeah.
We've said this.
Yes.
We was like, why the fuck is Joe not signed? Why Joe is not everywhere fucking killing it and getting bukus of money? Why? Then like just now, people are starting to, oh yeah, Joe Black. But it's like, Joe Black has been doing this for a while. So I really wanted him to come on and like be, as he says, savvy, you know what I'm saying? And let everybody know who's the killer. Does that make sense? I'm medicated, so I need to know if that makes sense.
That made perfect sense.
Yes, it makes perfect sense.
So, for people who don't know who Joe Black is, let people know who is Mr. Black Cloud. I like to call you Joe Black, but I say Mr. Black Cloud if you're ready to dance. And if you've seen his walks that he do, then you will understand. I've been a victim of it, and it's so
Crucial indeed.
Who's Mr. Black Cloud? Who's Joe
Man, who's Joe Black? If William Shakespeare threw a lariat, that's Joe Black. If Tupac Shakur put on a pair of tights, that's Joe Black. If Edgar Allan Poe wrote his epics inside of a ring, that's Joe Black. Most importantly, and most unabashedly so, Joe Black is a person who is not willing to compromise his beliefs, the way he thinks and feels about things in the name of opportunity, which a lot of my peers can't say. Joe Black's a student of the game. He's been in love with wrestling since 5 years old. He's also one of the hardest hitting, man. As a Haitian African American, you would think that I'm some kind of, Japanese person in soul, because I mean, I don't see any other person in wrestling besides Lala do it the way that I do it. So I mean, to sum it up, man, that's hard. I'm poetry in the flesh, simply put.
Poetry in the motherfucking flesh. I've never heard anybody describe themselves like that.
I dig that.
And I feel like that's probably the perfect way to describe Joe Black. When I first discovered Joe Black, this is just me personally, and Tevin can vouch. I don't usually like go up for anybody. You know what I mean? It's hard to pop me. It's hard for me to mark out for anybody. I can honestly say for the both of you, Joe and Lala, when I first seen the both of you, I popped. Like I was like, what the fuck? Who are these people? Why am I just now discovering them? Where have they been in this entire time that I've been enjoying indie wrestling? Why do I not see more of them? So to have you on and to talk to you, man, honestly it's an honor. We were told that you're not a big fan of compliments and the mushy shit, so I ain't gonna give you too much.
He ain't.
But I do want to get that out there. We are genuinely fans of you, so it's an honor to talk to you.
Absolutely, definitely, absolutely, man. Appreciate that.
So, Lala,
like y'all don't understand. Like he used to scare the shit out of me. Like
I'd
be like, man, yeah, like this is the greatest guy. He'd be like, stop. I'll be like, and like it's just a straight face. It's not like, nah, shut up. You'd be like,
yeah, that's true.
see Joe Black over there? He's dope. He's dope. Don't tell him I told you though.
Damn, don't tell him I told you.
That's true.
So, Lala, you mentioned earlier being African Americans in the wrestling business. So, I want to ask our guest, Joe, what has been your experience being a Black man in the wrestling business, especially down here in the South? What has been your experience?
Me personally, I haven't dealt with the racist aspect of professional wrestling as much as some of my peers have. One of my mentors, my brother William Huckabee, he was on Facebook not too long ago about a fan boldly calling him, a nigger to his face. And that's never happened to me because I'll slap the shit out of you, fan or not. My father raised me, if someone calls you out of your name, you check them right then and there. You don't send an email. You don't talk about it over the phone. You check them then and there. And a lot of people haven't really, I know there can be some racist fucks. You hear it's wrestling. This person says this word, or this person used to think this way a couple years ago. But whenever I see them and they're in front of me, they don't act that way towards me. But I think the way racism has manifested itself in regards to my career is I just don't get booked. I'm not the dude that has a contract. because I'm also a person, I'm not going to take shit. I'm not going to let you call me boy. I'm not going to let you, I'm not going to shuck and jive for you. I'm not going to come out to the ring dancing because that's what you think my people does. I'm not going to come out there, shining and, doing all that for you. I'm going to come out there, I'm going to wrestle. I'm going to give you some good shit in the ring, and I'm going to cut some, Shakespearean sonnet-esque promos. And if that's not good enough for you, then I don't know. I have nothing for you. So, I mean, I've worked very damn hard, and I feel like for the amount of work that I've put in for my tenure, I should be further. And I don't want to just attribute it to the fact that I'm a black man who won't betray his ideals. But at the end of the day, that's what it is. If I was willing to play the game, I might have a contract right now. Maybe I'll still be in the same position. But at least doing it this way, whenever I quit wrestling, whenever I'm done, I can say, I didn't compromise. I was myself through and through. I didn't let anyone say, this is who you should be. This is what you are. I define me. And yeah, man, but definitely if I was willing to sell out, and I really hate to use that verbiage, but that's what it is. I'm pretty sure I'd probably be making millions in wrestling right now, to be quite honest.
I mean, unfortunately, we do hear about that from time to time. People selling out, so to speak, for big money or big fame or whatever they would like to call it. So, it's good to hear that you and Lala and a few other people that I know we're going to have on the show at some point in time. It's good to hear that y'all are like that. That y'all won't sell yourselves out and you won't sell yourself short. Y'all know your worth. And you're not willing to compromise your worth for the sake of I can be on TV or I can be this or I can be that. That's always great to hear, man. Are you okay, Lala? What?
Cause I was listening.
Yeah, I'm like,
okay. Because you looked and I was like, oh shit, what did I miss? What happened? Did I miss something?
Like, yeah, something's going on.
Right. I didn't know what the fuck was happening. You sure? You good?
I'm positive.
Okay.
I told you I'm medicated. Like,
okay.
I know. I look. I saw the eyes.
You see the but if you had let's go for it. If you had $1.2 million and you were told, hey, I need you to create this is what, bam, everything is yours, structure, everything, like everything is in your name, like you're the owner. How would you go by building your promotion, which would kind of be like your brand as well because it's your baby? So how would you build that, if that makes sense?
That's an interesting question. I do respect one thing that AEW does insofar as they allow the people they sign to be themselves. They don't try to micromanage their persona or, change them into something else. I'm a very big proponent of creative freedom. So, if I was to brand anything, a promotion, if I'm picking you up, obviously I see something in you, something in your personality, your in-ring acumen. And that's what I want for my brand, because I feel like it would somehow, accentuate what I'm trying to do. So that would be the number one thing. Be you. Whoever you are, that's what I want in the ring. I don't want you to try to be like this guy from 10, 15, 20 years ago. The most unique thing any of us have is ourselves, the way we think, the way we are. There will never be another you. Right down to the genome, the very basic genetic structure. You are the most unique thing in the world. So if I'm creating something, I want uniqueness, because there's wrestling promotions everywhere and everything looks the same because everybody is trying to perpetuate the same image. I'm a badass. When I cut these promos, I'm going to screw my face up and I'm going to talk at the camera. Everybody is trying to do the same things because they see these people are the ones getting signed. These are the people making millions of dollars. So they figure this is a template for me to follow instead of being an individual. of course, I looked up to Benoit coming up. I looked up to Taker, Macho Man, Booker T. But when I was working with Booker T in Texas, one of the first things he told me was, "There's already a Booker T. There's already been a Chris Benoit. There's already been, Rey Mysterio and Chris Jericho. There hasn't been a Joe Black. So that's what I want for my promotion. You should always focus more on being the first you, not the next so and so and so on and so forth." So that'd be the number one basis of my promotion. If you don't have a soul, if you don't have individuality, if you're trying to be like someone I've already seen on TV, I have no desire for your art. Your art may be dope, you know what I'm saying? Because I know a lot of dope workers, but they have no personality. Everybody, to me, in wrestling that's left a mark had personality. They may not have been the greatest technician, but you're gonna remember Macho Man Randy Savage. You're gonna remember Booker T. You're gonna remember Ron Simmons. You're gonna remember all these people because they had some sort of uniqueness to them. Also, off the rip, Lala would be my heavyweight champion.
Yes.
Just because. Just because. I mean, we're talking. It's supposed to be about equality. A black woman having a heavyweight championship.
Come on now.
Yes.
Tell him something, Joe. Damn it.
And I'll just be in the back ghost booking because I definitely will not work my own show and put myself over like some folks do.
Shit. And I think this is where I will throw out the very first. I used to can, now I cannot. Because now, see, Joe, she told me you was gonna get on here speaking the real shit. Now, I ain't know you was really gonna start in on some shit now.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because listen, granted, I don't have nearly the experience that either of you have. But being a lifelong fan and being in the business for this short time that I have, I learned that you pick up opinions pretty fast because shit just is kind of in your face. So, you kind of have to form an opinion about shit real fast. And while I respect everybody's decision, especially promoters and bookers and how they want to run shit, I don't see any problem with putting over new talent. But unfortunately, Tevin can attest to it. We've run into some promoters who would rather put themselves over than to put over that talent, especially in certain cases, that black talent that's in the locker room, ready to go. The crowd is behind them, but they just decide that they just want to put themselves over.
Yep.
It's crazy to me. I don't know, Tevin. Is it still as crazy to you?
I believe it is, man. Like a lot of the time when we do go to shows, we see a lot of the same poetry in motion, if you will. You know what I'm saying? And we see a lot of the same faces. We see a lot of the same storylines. And there's not enough. I feel like this is why we see a lot of empty seats. You know what I'm saying? There's not enough uniqueness out there. So when we do see a Joe Black, when we do see a Ruthless, yes, we have to go up because we don't see a lot of us out there. So that's just always been my thing, you know what I'm saying? So
what's up,
man? What are some of the things that you would change if like Keith pointed out, like what were some of the things that you would say that you would want to change if you could?
Is this on me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, this is Joe Black. We talking to yous.
Well, use with the S. One of the things I would change, definitely, it's the same people in the mix, especially down south. You can pretty much predict who's going to main event a major Southern show, the same way you can predict who's going to main event a GCW show up north. It's become so predictable, and it's because people are afraid to take a chance. And I mean, anybody who's made money in business, it doesn't matter if it's the wrestling business, but business in general, they made their money off of taking chances. Of course, you can bet on the sure thing, and that might make you a little bit scratch at the end of the day. But, when Vince McMahon created WrestleMania, everybody was like, what are you doing? Just stick to the recipe that your father created. You know what I'm saying? He made himself rich off of it. Why do you think it's so left field? But of course, it became a cultural phenomenon. So a lot of promoters aren't willing to take that chance because they're cowards. And at the end of the day, in this type of a business, it's a carny kind of business. It's a circus. At the end of the day, professional wrestling is the only circus that's still in business. The circus is pretty much dead except for professional wrestling. And it's a lot of cowards who don't want to take a chance. They don't want to put over new talent because they're probably friends with the person that they put their strap on. They go to Waffle House and they eat with them at the end of the show and they put each other over and knob slob and all that good stuff. And now it's not even about talent. It's about what can you do for me? And it's not like, yo, I can do this for your promotion. No, no, no. Fuck the promotion. What can you do for me? There's so many ego hungry, people in power because they probably, and man, I hate to say it like this, but they were probably the cat on the playground who the little girl said had cooties and didn't want to play with them. They went up through high school and they never won a fight. They never got any pussy. I hate to put it like that, but that's the truth. Then they became a wrestler or a wrestling personality.
Tell it like it is, bruh.
Now all of a sudden they're getting attention and they're sticking to this formula to keep them getting that attention. It's not about the show. It's about them. So that'd be the first thing I change. Like, yo, I don't care if this person is hot in the South. That don't mean nothing for my promotion. What can you bring to the promotion? What can you do for the overall product? It's about the people that pay for the tickets. And the boys and the girls in the back don't realize that. Fuck what your peers are thinking. They didn't pay for a ticket. They're not buying concessions. They're not buying your merch. So you got to understand your demographic. It's business. I went to college for business. You got to understand your demographic. You got to give the people what they want within reason. Don't let the people dictate your show, because a lot of fans are shitheads nowadays, especially if you look at the chats and the things that's posted on Twitter. But you can't silence what the people want because that's your consumer base. So if people could remove themselves and their ego from their business model and put the people that are paying for the tickets in mind, then they might start to succeed. So that would be definitely something I would implement.
I know I tell Tevin and Lala all the time, with us, with our brand, what we do as the Marking Out Boys, we go to a lot of these shows in the Alabama, Tennessee area. We have yet to hit Georgia, but that's coming. Just as soon as this Rona shit is done.
Yes.
We going to Georgia, damn it. But Tevin and I have said oftentimes we've gone into a show and been the only black people at that show, fan or worker. It really don't matter. He and I have been the only black people. There are no black people on the card. There's no black fans in the crowd except for us. And as a black fan, I tend to not even want to come to your show if I don't see that there's black talent on the card. The talent that you have can be great. You know what I mean? And they can be talent that we love. But if we don't see black talent on the card, why would I want to keep coming to the show? But then there's that fine line of we don't want to keep seeing the same black talent. If we're going to 4 different shows, I don't want to see the same 4 black dudes at the show. You know what I mean? That I just saw last weekend. That's right. It. And again, they can be fantastic in the ring. They can be great on the mic. But what am I going to see different out of this dude every single weekend at these same 4 or 5 shows? You got to switch it up. Like you have to be willing to take that risk. That's why when I saw Lala for the first time, I marked the fuck out, and Tevin and I were working at a.
He scared the shit out of me.
First of all, okay. Because I was not expecting you to come so soon.
Yo, Joe, on some real shit. I walk in to EWA.
Yeah, James, you're all right, bro. You're all right.
And I walk through the curtain, And right when I was like, "Hi, guys," he's like, "Ah!" I was like,
because I was not expecting her.
Okay.
That was the thing, because like she just came out the blue. Like me and Joe were just sitting there talking, and then we both looked, and we both fangirl.
Adrian Armour is up here looking. That's which
Two
one
finger
was is
salute.
also a member of the hierarchy.
Hey.
Salute to you, Adrian.
But it should, like because I had just talked to her. I was working the social media for a local company, and I had just like got her in touch with the booker at that point, and literally the next week she showed the fuck up. I see that's what I was not expecting. So yeah, when she came, I marked out. Fuck it, whatever. I went a little crazy because not only anybody who knows me, something that y'all will probably learn about me as well. You're learning it now. I'm a huge fan of women's wrestling. You know what I mean?
That's
So
same here.
and we talk about how few black people get put on. It's even less for black women. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's bad for black people in general, but for black women, it's even worse in this business.
Yeah.
So to see somebody like Lala come in and do what she does at whatever show she's at, like I know I'm going to get something different. When I see a Joe Black match, I know I'm going to get something different. When I see an Aaron Black match, I know I'm going to get something different. Big shout out to him. You know what I mean? So and that was kind of one of the things that sparked this whole podcast. Lala and I having that conversation, where I was just venting my frustration and telling her like I'm sick of seeing the same two black dudes on every card when I know that there's tons of black talent out here who can do, who can go. So that was what pretty much sparked this whole thing, was her and I having that conversation. And I'm sure probably better than anybody how she'll get an idea and it'll just run 50 miles a minute.
Yep.
So that's pretty much what happened. We were talking, she got this idea and she just ran with it, and we joked about it for a little bit, but then, it ended up becoming a thing. And like she said earlier, it's to showcase all this underrated talent like you, that we feel should be everywhere. There is no reason Joe Black shouldn't be signed somewhere. Like, damn, I can't think
I'm
of.
gonna be honest with you. Out of the 17 years that I've been in this business, there has legitimately been 5 people, if that has actually hit me like I wanted them to hit me. And one was Adrian Armour. The other one was the Get Bundles, my bro. Shout out to the bro. My best fucking friend in the whole wide world. No Limit, Mike Cobb, the God. And was that guy right there, Joe. Joe, where is that? Right there. Right there.
Yeah.
Jesus.
No, he's right there. He's it sounds weird. This is probably why I'm single. Because it sounds weird, like, hey, what do you do for a living?
Wow.
I throw motherfuckers
She just
indoors,
slipped
and I
that
get
in
paid for a
there.
living. And they'd be like, wait, what? I was like, yeah. They're like, oh, so you wrestle women. But like, I wrestle guys too. Wait, you be hitting niggas? I can't do this. I can't do this. And it's just like it's like, well, okay, you know what? I'm gonna just stay like this. So it's like being and like a lot of people get offended when I talk about how when I do come home, I don't wrestle nowhere. If I was to wrestle somewhere, it would be ACW because Darren appreciates me. You know what I'm saying? And Texas didn't appreciate me when I was here, and that's one of the reasons why I love Joe with all of my heart, because he was one of the people that was 100% real. Him, Buns, and Mike Cobb, those are my 3. Those are my A1 since day ones, because they've done nothing but be honest, and they've helped me become better than what I am. They see stuff in me that I can't see, you know. And one of the things was, you know, the reason why I am where I'm at now, you know, besides me grinding, is because of Joe. You know, and I don't have a problem with saying it. I say it to him tomorrow. He'd be like, "Shut up, sis." I'm like, "I understand it, but I need you to understand that, like, if because I remember like it was yesterday. I was so bummed out because I felt like I was doing what I was supposed to be doing, but yet I wasn't getting any results. And I remember I hit up Joe and I was like, "Yo, if I was trash, you would tell me though, right?" And he was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Okay." I was like, "Then what the fuck is wrong with me?" Like that was like legit my like, what is wrong with me? Because it got so disheartening to where you have these promotions tell you how they, like, we really appreciate you, and like I appreciate you coming in and doing what you're supposed to be doing, but then yet you're constantly wrestling the same local people that you wrestle on a regular basis. And then when they bring in the big names, they bring in other big names to wrestle them instead of using their local talents, the people that have ride or died for them since day one. So it really gets stressful when you have somebody telling you how much they appreciate you, but then their actions don't show of the words that they're speaking. And I remember he told me to get out of Texas, and that's when I went and I sent my information to AWE, and I had my debut. And since then, like, it's been like by far a dream come true. And like I said, and I feel like everybody gets tired of my shit, but like I can't say it enough of how much I appreciate you, Joe, for like legitimately taking me under your wing and like just helping me, like, and not even like doing everything for me, but just guiding me to get to this monster that I am now. You know, I don't think people truthfully understand how much of an amazing person you are, uh, not just in the ring, but outside the ring. You know, like, you stay to yourself, but you stay to yourself for a reason. But when you do fuck with people, you show it because you're there to have their back. And that's something that I have not been able to clearly have, you know. So now the fact that I have people that care about me and care about my well-being and help me is kind of weird, you know, because I'm not used to it. I'm used to like nothing but just, well, let's call it fuck niggas, you know, and it's the worst. Like, it sucks. So the fact that I can have somebody like you that I call a brother, and I can have somebody like Buns I call my bro, and Mike's my best friend, and Caden's my nephew, you know, and Ryan Powell's my little brother. Like, I love y'all so much because like y'all help me keep pushing, you know, and it just irritates me that like you're not everywhere on fucking TV right now. You know what I'm saying? Like that, like every podcast that I do, and they say who are some people that we should look for, I'd be like Joe Black, Mike Cobb, Kaden Say to get bundles. Like, it don't change. It stays the same. It's like, oh, well, who do you want to see? Joe Black, Mike Cobb to get bundles, Kaden Say. He'd be like, all right, well, what about Mike Cobb, Joe Black to get bundles, Kaden Say? Like,
it be like that.
You know,
no, it really be
It
like
do.
that. You know, when me and Tevin
It do,
get
man.
asked, you know, who do you guys as fans, who do you guys want? We have like our set little, you know, list of people that we want to see come in, and usually it's an all black list. Very rarely,
Yeah.
I mean, and that's not no shade to nobody, but typically it is an all black list just because, like I said, sometimes, most of the time, we'll go to a show and there's one or even no black people at all anywhere near the card. So, you know, is it? So, do you guys as performers, when you do get that, when you see like AWE, for example,
too. I'm sorry, I'm just not looking at it like okay, so
you just now
several
seen
months, I'm just now going to see people speaking.
shout out to all of y'all who are watching this live, man. We appreciate
Yeah, we
y'all
love
for
y'all,
sitting
man.
here
Thank you.
and watching this live and interacting with us, man. So, but do you guys, like, for example, with AWE, do you guys as performers get a stronger sense of loyalty when you find a promotion like that or find a promoter like that?
Hell yes. Hell yeah. Murder, you know, who books for AWE, I call him OG. And the reason I call him OG is because when I first started coming into AWE, I was in the tag team. He saw potential in me as a singles competitor. He booked me against guys like, Jimmy Jacobs. He booked me against Eddie Kingston. He booked me against Simon Gotch. I was getting booked by guys who were actively making me better. And then he booked me against ACH, who, we talking black athletes. ACH is right up there, right up there. So,
absolutely.
And that was just based off of, you keep it G, you bust your ass, I'm gonna reward you, and that's how it's supposed to be. He could have, booked those guys and booked them against another, indie darling that he was bringing in, but he always, whenever these big names would come in, they were working his guys, his homegrown talent. And whenever you find somewhere like that, man, you ride and die for him. There's been many a time where I told him or Josh Wheeler, like, yo, I don't care about getting paid. You guys are booking me in matches that are helping me level up. You have my loyalty, straight up. And those promotions are very rare, very. That's why I love AWE so much, because, they gamble on their guys. But that's the reason why we, in my opinion, we're one of the best promotions in not just the Southeast, but in the United States, because it's a promotion where we want to see our guys level up. We don't want to book these top tier guys and pay them X amount of dollars to wrestle other guys that, you can see anywhere. We want to see them in the ring with our guys. So yeah, those places, you got to hold on to those, definitely.
Who's been your favorite opponent that you worked thus far?
Real quick, can
Man.
everybody hear each other perfectly?
Yeah.
Okay. Favorite opponent. Man, I really hate giving this dude credit.
Oh shit!
And Lala probably knows who I'm talking about, but it definitely ain't no hate. This is a dude, we came up together. We both started in 2009. He was in Charlotte, I was in Greensboro, North Carolina, and in my opinion, this dude should already have one of the top straps in WWE. But definitely Cedric Alexander, definitely him and ACH. Those are dudes that a lot of people, except for Lala, scared to like hit me. I love Japanese wrestling, so I want contact. I want that. I like that raw shit. But man, these dudes try to kick my ass, and because of it, like I got so much better in ring. I can also go on to say Chip Day. I can go on to say Lala herself. I can go on to say, AC Mack. There's a lot of dudes that when you get in the ring with them, you just feel that chemistry and this is about to be magic. But if I have to say a number one, I got to say punk ass Kakarot. Cedric Alexander himself would be at the top of that list.
Dope, man.
Joe, do you actually want to be signed anywhere major?
I mean,
let me tell you why I asked. Because we end up talking to a lot of indie wrestlers, and the thing is nowadays, like, there's a bunch of options. You know what I mean? You got, of course, the standard bearer in WWE, but you got AEW now, and you got MLW now, and Ring of Honor's still out there, and you know what I'm saying? It feels like there's something popping up almost every day. So there's a lot of options out there. Of course, New Japan, if you want to talk international. But me personally, I've talked to a few guys recently, and they've said they don't really have the desire to be on a major promotion anymore, because they see so many people out here being successful just on the indies doing what they want to do. So do you personally want to be signed anywhere major?
Definitely not WWE. And I know a lot of guys are going to hear that and be like, oh my God, he committed the cardinal sin of wrestling. You never.
Mean, you're never supposed to speak against the E.
But I'm definitely going to do it because, my brother's been feeding his family off of WWE. And, because of that, I respect them. I have a lot of homies that's gone on there and been successful. But for me personally, you're not going to bring me in off of my talent that you saw and you see enough in to invest in, and then say, okay, now we're going to repackage you. This is going to be your name. This is what we're going to have you do. You know, I can't, maybe it's pride, maybe it's arrogance, but I'm not going to subject myself to that. So, I mean, I did some backstage work with WWE before. You know, I got squashed by Lars Sullivan before he disappeared. I had a tryout match and I wrestled James Drake. And after our match, AJ Styles, who was the champion at the time, came down the bleachers and actually kicked us the game. So, I mean, that was cool. So I can always say that I've been backstage. You know, I've seen the inner workings of it. I used to do some dark matches for ROH. So I've been there and I saw the inner workings of it. Got to work with Jay Lethal, you know, backstage and get the game from him. So that's cool. I know a lot of people making noise in AEW, and that's cool too. I'm not going to say I wouldn't sign a contract with the ROH or AEW, and I definitely want to go to Japan, but Japan is like the only goal right now. I'm not going to shirk any other opportunity that helps me get my brand out there. But also, I'm not going to sign a dotted line without having a lawyer give it a once over. I know a lot of people don't do that because they're just happy to see a contract. And, B, this is who I am. Obviously, you sought me out because here's this piece of paper saying that, yo, you're dope enough that we're about to invest some serious money and TV time in you. You're not going to change who I am. You know, I've worked too hard to get to this state in the game. And because of that, I'm happy on the indies. And I think I'm too opinionated to have a contract right now because if you come at me with some bullshit, I'm going to say, yo, boss man, this is bullshit. I ain't doing it. I did it with Booker T. I do it with anybody. Like, yo, this is stupid. I'm not really cool with that. So if it happens, cool. I'm not actively pursuing it. No, I'm just trying to have some fun.
Do you have a dream opponent?
Dream opponent.
Or a dream most of
them are dead. I guess if I had to pick one, I would say probably Minoru Suzuki over in Japan, definitely.
Oh, wow.
I'd love to work with ACH again. Dream match wise, I never really gave it that much thought. And the reason why is, because these dudes are in the same business as me. So if I'm honored to work with you, you should have that same mindset of, I'm honored to work with you because we're about to create a moment. So I don't even look at it as dream matches because we're in the same business. So, I mean, there's a lot of cats that I'd like to get in the ring with, definitely. But yeah, Suzuki, if I had to put a dream match stamp on it, definitely Minoru Suzuki. Definitely.
I hope a few people will listen to this and hear what the fuck Joe just said. If you're in the same business as somebody and y'all are about to face each other, that means you're on the same level.
Yep.
It's a lot of you dudes out there who could withstand to humble yourselves. I ain't gonna say no names.
Egotistical.
I got a feeling a few of them gonna watch this and know I'm talking about them. But
because they're gonna be in their feelings.
Oh yeah. Oh no. I'm waiting on the messages. I'm waiting on the messages.
Happen.
Who was you talking about when you said that they need to listen to Joe?
If
you gotta ask me
what did I tell you was gonna happen?
If you gotta ask me if you gotta ask me who was I talking about, my G, we both know who I was talking about. Okay.
A head dog gonna holler.
And y'all barking real loud. I hear you already.
Why?
But
act like you don't see me having a podcast. You gonna make me beat my kids on live podcast?
Oh man!
Please don't beat
your kids. Do that.
Oh Lord! Please don't.
Well, this is what's going on that y'all can't see. They're playing Madden. It's the Eagles versus the Falcons. So my daughter is ahead right now. So like my son is like, look at this. They going
Keyshawn has had enough. I told you, I told you already. Keyshawn's default is I've had enough. I'm ready to go.
Oh my goodness,
that's Keyshawn's default. I'm trying to tell you.
So if this Joe Black, because like I know, like we don't want to hold you, even though we are enjoying this. But if now Joe Black can go back and tell younger Joe Black anything, like give younger Joe Black any advice, what would that be?
Man, I'd probably tell him not to be a wrestler. Honestly. Like, yo, dude, you smart as shit. You got near genius level IQ. What are you doing, baby? Why is you pursuing this business when they ain't gonna appreciate your talent until you're dead? And they say, yo, you remember that cat Joe Black? He was dope, wasn't he? We should have gave him an opportunity. But nah, everything that I've gone through has made me who I am now as a man, as a performer. So I don't think I'd go back and tell my younger self anything different because that will alter the path that I'm on now. Probably the one thing is don't fall in love with that Italian bitch. And Lala knows who I'm talking about. That'd probably be the only thing. But other than that,
I'm waiting for that dream to come true so I can beat that ass.
That ain't never gonna happen. But everything else.
God damn, that sounds like a story. I ain't gonna question it because obviously you don't want to tell it. But that sounds like a good story right there.
But definitely everything I've been through, man, I feel like it's made me who I am now. So I wouldn't change that. A lot of people will say, man, if I can go in the past, I'd do this different. But if you can go in the past and do the different, then the person that's saying it presently wouldn't be the person you are presently. So I don't want to change too much because I feel like it would alterly and drastically change who I am now. And I think from a spiritual growth standpoint, a physical growth standpoint, a mental growth standpoint, wrestling has been my stability. When loved ones passed away, or whenever the world's craziness, gets to a fever pitch, wrestling has been that constant to keep me rooted. So I would just tell young Joe, just stay you, be true to you. Never alter your path because everybody else is deviating from it because this can make me rich, or this can put me on TV, or this can give me some clout. Stay your path. You know what I'm saying? Never leave your path because there's so many in the business who cannot say that they are on the same path they started when they first laced up a pair of boots. There's not many. And I'm one of the few that can say the Joe Black I was 11 years ago, I'm the same dude. Of course, it's been growth. Of course, there's been, some things that taught me something. But for the most part, spiritually wise, I ain't sell out. I'm still me. Tupac said it best. I can look in the mirror and I can stare in my own face and see my soul. And a lot of people can't say that. But I'm privileged to say that I can. I know Lala can. There's a few that can. I know Murder can. But a lot of my peers, they're gonna hear that and be like, man, when I look in the mirror, I don't even recognize that face looking back at me. And to me, that's worse than death. That's worse than obscurity because you're no longer you. You're whoever they want you to be. So, I mean, just stay true to yourself, young Joe. Don't be a wrestler if you can help it. But I know you ain't going to listen to me because you don't listen. But just be you.
Now, COVID-19 has been keeping all of us at home. What are you doing in your spare time?
This goddamn Rona.
I already know he got that Final Fantasy. I know he got it.
Woo, that game's fire too.
Hey, listen, I got it too.
Yeah, man.
I'm trying to hold my excitement.
I'm actually playing. I'm a big gamer, so I downloaded Resident Evil 3, Final Fantasy. Ooh. Usually I don't have time to actually sit around and play video games. I'm either at work or working out or on the road. So, I mean, I've been enjoying that. They closed down all the gyms, so we built a home gym just to accommodate for the gyms being closed. So I'm still getting brolic, as Lala would say. I started meditating, man, to kind of center myself because wrestling has been my catharsis for so long that when it got yanked away, I felt myself getting stir crazy. And I was looking at everyday normal people like, yo, if I can just choke slam you through the earth right now, just plotting like some violent shit. So I started meditating to get my soul right. But yeah, I'm still watching wrestling, still studying. Because a lot of my peers are going to come back and be the same person they were before all this happened. And if you are, you already lost. You should come back and be in some sort of better shape. You should be in a better spiritual place. Your mind should have grown a little bit. I'm trying to learn Japanese in this off time as well. But this is an opportunity. There's no downtime of wrestling. Everything is shutting down. Like Vince actually canceled a pay-per-view, and that's unheard of. WrestleMania was filmed in front of no audience. This is the only time in wrestling and probably wrestling history where there's been no wrestling. This is the only off season that wrestling has had in probably the past 6 or 7 years. So this is a unique opportunity for us to level up and bring something different to the game and something new to the table. But 85.9% of people are going to be the same motherfuckers they were. They're still going to be cut the same promos. They're still going to wrestle the same match. And it's sad. It really is. I can't wait to clown these people on the mic.
We definitely can't wait to hear that one.
I'm telling you, I'm excited to hear it. Lala, do you want to? I mean, it's totally up to him. Do you want to do promo class with y'all?
Oh, promo class.
Because we talked. Listen, we had this idea. When we get our guests on here, give them some time to, when we're closing out things, and we are about to close this out, we want to thank y'all who are still watching. Shout out to everybody who was watching and you clicked off. I totally understand everybody ain't got an hour. And we definitely want to thank Joe for being on. But we had this idea that, we wanted our guests to showcase themselves, put themselves on. What better way to do that on a podcast than to cut a promo? So if you want to, ain't no pressure, because I ain't trying to get my ass whooped. If you want to.
I ain't definitely trying to get his choke slammed either. He looking dead at me. I can see it.
You want the smoke because you can probably keep up. I can't.
Joe versus Lala part.
And I'm not a smoker.
We
so.
only had one, goddammit. It needs to be a part 2. Shit,
we got to make sure we get that going so that Jordan and Tevin can be there to see at that time. But yeah, so to close this out, if you want to, the floor is yours. You cut a promo on anything you want to, whatever you feel it.
No. Hold on. No.
Oh shit! Here she go.
Here she go.
We're gonna do everything in ruthless realness, okay?
Okay.
If coronavirus was a wrestler, Joe, and you got told that you got to wrestle coronavirus tomorrow, what is your promo?
Man, coronavirus, huh? All right. Now you see, you shut down the world. You had everybody running to the grocery store. You had everybody up in arms. You had everybody worried about, were they going to get sick this day? Are their loved ones going to pass away this next week? You got people in New York, digging ditches for mass burials. Like this is, the days of the bubonic plague. It seems that society has regressed overnight almost because of your presence. But unlike my peers, unlike the rest of society, I don't see this as something to fear. I see it as an ample opportunity to get stronger, to level up, if you will, to gain more power. Can you see when people see fear, they usually run the other way. When I see fear, I smile and I kiss that pretty bitch right on the cheek because fear makes me feel alive. It makes my heart beat a little faster. It makes the blood pump a little bit more. It lets me know there's still life and activity in my limbs. So as long as there's still life in me, that means that there's another chance to beat fear, beat death, and beat the odds and prove that Joe Black is not only that dude, but he'll be that dude throughout the annals of time. So let me tell you something, Rona, COVID-19, you got everybody saying that we should shelter in place. You got everybody saying that we don't need to be around nobody. We don't need to shake hands or show love, that we need to be in fear. I've been through worse. I've stared in the eyes of death before, and you don't look too familiar, Corona. So when wrestling starts back up, when the world wakes back up, when everything gets back on track, it's going to be you and I. And you better make sure you stop my heart. You better make sure you fill my lungs up with so much fluid, I'm drowning above ground. Because if you don't, I'm going to beat your ass into that canvas. And with your blood, with your loss, with your defeat, I'm going to paint something only comparable to the Sistine Chapel itself with your failure. Because I am Joe Black. I am ordained to be something more in life than somebody normal or someone that lives in fear. And I will conquer you because I come from a long line of conquerors. Savvy?
Ooh, poetry in the flesh, man.
Somebody sign him. I'm
I
tired.
don't know if he said it, but I'm gonna say it. Savvy enough.
Somebody sign him. What y'all doing?
Hey, look. I got a pen. See, look, I got a pen. All you got to do is get the paperwork going.
What?
Joe, you can have this, dog. I don't even want it back. I don't want to
Where's
get
the
your
contract? What are y'all doing? What? Y'all got
See,
all.
look, hold on,
Listen.
I got two of them, Joe. See, I got a blue one. I got a black one. Which one you want?
Oh, definitely.
Before you go, before we let you go to your close out, is there anybody that you want to give a shout out to? You want to shout out your squad, and if so, for people who are watching, who are going to go back and watch this, if they want to check out Joe Black or follow Joe Black's journey, how would they be able to do that?
On IG, I'm JBlackCloud37 or something like that. On Twitter, I'm BlackCloud37 or something like that. On Facebook, you can find me under Joseph BlackCloud. As far as shout outs, man, I just want to shout out my people. Besides the 2-finger salute, murder, Adrian Armour down there in Florida. What's up, dude? I just want to give a shout out to Darius Lockhart. I want to give a shout out to Timmy Lou Retton. I want to give a shout out to Cam Carter. I want to give a shout out to Savannah Evans. I want to give a shout out to Ronnie Nicole. I want to give a shout out to AC Mack. I want to give a shout out to all the dope young brothers and young sisters in this business of melanin who are putting it down and redefining the culture. It's not about just being the culture. We have to redefine the culture. And the names that I've said, those aren't all the names by any means. If I left you off that list, please charge it to my mind and not my heart. But, those are the folks that I feel like need to be put on. Like when everybody's asking, why don't you have a contract? I say, why isn't Darius Lockhart signed? Why isn't it Suge D signed yet? You know what I'm saying? You got a gymnast, a black gymnast who's also a wrestler. Why isn't he signed yet? Why isn't Ruthless Lala signed yet? Why isn't Ronnie Nicole signed yet? Or Savannah Evans, or Tasha Steele up there in New York, So I just want to shout out these folks because I want the spotlight on them. I'm good in the shadows. Contracts are cool. The sunlight is fine. I'm good where I'm at. I'm just trying to have fun. But these are the people who have taken this business and let it, be their constant. These are the folks that are still young in the game. These are the folks that should be everywhere, man. So definitely, that's who I want to shout out. Everybody that's out there, a person of color. I don't want anybody to feel like I'm, there's some kind of division. At the end of the day, I am a person of color. I'm a black man. So I have to give it up to my culture first. So everybody of color is in wrestling, doing your thing. Stay true to yourself. We're doing it. It don't matter if they put us on. We're already on. It's about manifesting our greatness to the world. And to everybody else, it's the same with you. You ain't got to be black for you to, digest this message. Everybody has greatness in them. You have to manifest that yourself. And, you can't be somebody else's vision of yourself because then you're not going to, that greatness that lies dormant in you is going to always be asleep. You got to be true to yourself. You got to manifest your inner greatness. You got to find a way to bring that greatness out into the world. And you got to make sure that it's not something that can be, put a price. You can't put a price on that. So don't sell out your dreams because the contract has a certain amount of comments in it. Be true to yourself, do your thing. And at the end of the day, if nobody else is singing your praises, baby, I'll sing your praises. I'll Kurt Franklin the shit out of your praises if I got to. But don't get discouraged. Keep going.
Thank you very much, man.
Joe, man, thank you so much for being on the first episode of the Ruthless Realness podcast, man. I don't think we could have had a better first guest. Honestly, that was the perfect way to close this out. Once again, man, thank you so much, Joe Black, for being on. We'll for sure be in touch, and we'll for sure be looking out for you because, damn it, somebody gonna.
I want to see that match too.
Somebody got to
happen. Somebody got to book that. Joe Black versus Rona. It needs to happen.
Oh,
it needs to happen.
And make sure I have my mask.
It needs to happen. The best,
right?
The 2 out of 3.
Hey,
best 2 out of 3. Thank you so much, Joe. Man, thank you so much.
Thank you all for having me.
Take care, Joe.
All right,
man. Yo, like, what did I tell you, sir? Yo,
man,
that was amazing.
Can I tell y'all something? Why is it that Joe just regularly speaking sounds like a fucking promo class.
Right.
Just him talking.
It's bro. I'm telling you, son. Yo, that's
It's
like
just like, yo, I just want to take notes. Just let him talk. I just want to take notes.
Bro, like I would always be in my feelings when I would hit Joe up, or like we'll be together, we'll be talking, and he'll just be speaking, and like I just feel like the nigga be cutting a promo. I'm gonna be like, well, damn. Oh, okay, I'm gonna go over there then, bro.
Right. But no, man, that was fantastic. Y'all, to those of you still watching.
That Roma promo was fire, son.
Fire.
Absolutely. Hold on. Let's put this up here. Cause it absolutely was. That promo was I've been waiting on somebody to cut a fucking promo on COVID-19. Now, I don't think anybody can outdo that. I don't know. Whoever we have on next week, if we let them do the same.
Since he didn't come in now, next week, you know what I'm saying, if I can wait that long, we gonna get the supreme leader himself, Murder Uno, in the building and sit down and talk to him. Also, if there's any wrestlers in particular, mind you, that if you want to hear them get roasted, Uno is starting up a little thing to where you send him like $10 to his Cash App, and he just roasts whoever you send. So, like, I truthfully believe that we're gonna get some of that when he does come in on here. So it's gonna be.
Listen, y'all already know I'm a mark for three things: women's wrestling, a good promo, and a good roast. All right. So hopefully, prayerfully, next week we're gonna get a good roast.
We'll get a good roast. Oh no, I believe we are. Before we leave, is there anybody, Tevin, you would like to give a shout out to?
Shout out to the both of y'all, man. We doing this shit.
Oh, stop.
Hey, man. Big ups to all the fans out there. We love y'all.
Stop.
Shout out to my boy Aaron Black. I'm rocking this hoodie.
Hey.
He said, Armor said it's gonna be a pot roast. Yo, and you know what? Like, I don't know. Like, this is how I'm feeling. Seeing that it's our first one. Like, if y'all not doing nothing tomorrow, do y'all want to do another one?
I don't know if I'm doing anything tomorrow. If I'm not, we'll get back on here and do it.
And then if so, Mr. Armor right there, we'll talk to Mr. Adrian Armor, and take a stroll down memory lane of the first time Ruthless met Armor. It was the most amazing thing
that
ever.
Story. I would love to hear.
There was just ass whoopings everywhere. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. It was very beautiful.
Ass whoopings everywhere.
But if you're down for that, Armor, we'll definitely get you in. If everybody's not doing it tomorrow and y'all want to do this again, just to kind of get the swing into it, so people will know and everything. I'm totally down for it. But I will tell you to be expecting a couple of interviews from Savannah Evans, Montana Black, Caden Sade. I will try my best to get in contact with the little bro, Ryan Powles, to try to get him on here and talk to him about how does he feel for being the youngest wrestler to debut at AEW.
Out here killing the game.
Killing it, man. Killing it.
Shout out to AWE, shout out to Pro South, shout out to NGW, shout out to SWF, WSU, massive shout out to WSU. Shout out to all my peoples and my families in New Jersey. I hope y'all staying good. Shout out to the God of Drivers, Nez Lopez. I love you, bro. I hope you're getting better. Massively, last but not least, before last but not least, shout out to y'all too. Like, shout out to y'all for putting on my shit. I know it is not easy.
Stop. Girl, stop. Why you always stop?
Why you bugging?
She stopped too. Did you see her stop? She completely stopped.
But Real quick though, also shout out to my two of my dopest best friends who are my Xbox buddies, Kakashi and Riley. I'm gonna get on this division 2 in a second. We're gonna knock this stronghold out because I'm sick of this shit. Yeah, shout out to y'all and last but not least, yo, and this will forever how it always be. Shout out to my sis Aja that is in Florida, killing it.
Yes.
First
Damn,
American
James, I'm rocking
female
your hoodie.
referee, killing the game. Massive shout out to her. Massive shout out to my sister Faye Jackson. I love you. Shout out to my nephew Caden Sade, Ryan Powles, my dearest brother, the Get Bundles, Joe motherfucking Black. That was by far the best way that I would like to start it off. And last but not least, shout out to my Superly A1 since day one. He is my rock, and he is a form because he always hits me. And it hurts, but I appreciate it. Shout out to my best friend in the whole wide world, the limit breaker himself, No Limit, Mike Cobb, godlike shit. Shout out to him. And I got all my shout outs out, but I was really excited about fucking shit. Shout out to my sister who is the other half of the WSU World Tag Team Champion, Sue Young. I love you, sis. We are young and ruthless. And so shout out to the sis. Okay. Go for it. Sorry.
I want to shout out this bottle of wine that I'm finna go pour me a cup of. I want to shout out the food that I'm waiting on. That is on the way. I want to shout out to everybody who has tuned into this show, man. Whether you liked it or you did, well, if you didn't like it, we don't really give a fuck. But either way, shout out to y'all so much for checking this out, man. The very first episode of the Ruthless Realness podcast. If you want to see more of me and Tevin in particular, not saying that there's anything wrong with the sis because she already know we love her. We have our own podcast, the Marking Out podcast, that's on this platform here, YouTube, and listen to it everywhere. We're about to get off into some things that it's gonna make a couple people mad. Few of y'all
finna get mad.
Few of y'all finna get in your
feelings. This is episode 1.
This is just episode 1.
You see that?
There he is.
Oh,
yes.
Lord. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we will bid y'all a good night. Thank y'all so very much for tuning in. We love y'all. Subscribe to the channel. Follow us.
EOW and Dark Clouds.
All of that. Follow us on all the social media. Subscribe to the YouTube channels. When Rona gets over, get her bitch ass out of here. Yeah, all shout out to everybody, dog. Shout out to all of them, dog. Everybody. We love y'all. Thank y'all so much. Be sure to pay attention to the social media to see when we're coming back with the next episode. Might be tomorrow, might be next week. We don't know yet. We'll figure it out. Either way, we love y'all. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. For my big sis, Ruthless Lala, for my big bro, Tevin.
Hey, Morgana. Love you, Morgana.
I am Jordan McClain. This has been a Marking Out production, the Ruthless Realness podcast, episode 1, and we are out of here. Love y'all.
Love y'all, man.